God's household is outraged about Trump's blasphemous truth social post. I'll talk about the name of the platform another day. The Holy Spirit gave me the revelation of the meaning of the blasphemous image. It's spiritual representation. It's the spiritual representation of a demonic offering to the altar of Molech. If you look closely at the image, what do you see? You see a huge flag that closely resembles the American flag with an eagle flying in front. The eagle is a blasphemous representation of Jesus' prophetic ministry, which is in actuality Bar Jesus' ministry in the case of what we're dealing with. And the flag only shows 18 unobstructed stars. An authentic American flag has 50 stars, one for each state. This flag represents Trump's version of America. Remember, Trump only fancies himself the leader of the so-called red states. The 18 stars on the flag represent the 18 state legislatures fully controlled by the Democratic Party after the 2024 elections. Then there's what looks like 4 soldiers being raptured, and there's something that resembles a demonic being in the middle of those soldiers. That being is Molech, a minotaur-like looking thing with horns that services the altar of Molech. The altar of Molech is an altar of sacrifice, and the soldiers are being sacrificed to the altar of Molech. At the center of the image, you see a woman praying, a man lying on his deathbed, and a nurse. This center image, in and of itself, represents the spirit of death. Jesus' hands carry healing, but the Antichrist's hands carry death. More specifically, the man lying on his deathbed represents the spirit of death. The praying woman represents the spirit of blasphemy, and the nurse represents the spirit of perversion. These are also the 3 spirits the Holy Spirit guided me in praying against nightly the entire month of December back in 2023. Now, the Statue of Liberty and the Lincoln Monument are in the background on his left-hand side. Then there's a fighter jet and an eagle flying over the Statue of Liberty toward the Lincoln Memorial. The fighter jet represents war and the eagle represents the prophetic. Together, they represent a prophetic war in America. Then there's a building that resembles the White House with a mob and a security guard in the background on his right-hand side. Recall that an officer died during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. So what he's actually doing is depicting a prophetic war between good and evil. He, in true Antichrist fashion, wants us to think he's with the people of God, but those of us with the spirit of discernment know better. The image is blasphemous on multiple levels, but primarily because it's a representation of everything the Antichrist stands for. He wants us to believe he's trying to save the nation, when in fact, he's sacrificing it at the altars of Mammon and Molech. Think about it. Every time President Trump has threatened military might against another country, it has been about financial gain. That is the altar of Mammon, and the resulting loss of life is unto the altar of Molech. As I'm writing this, I hear the wind of the Spirit whistling and what sounds like a boiling pot. It reminds me of when you boil eggs, the sound of the boiling. And I had a vision about a boiling pot, which I posted on my channel, my YouTube channel, The Seer's Altar, back in January 30th of this year. I'll leave a link to it in this video's description below. In totality, this image is what I call, for lack of a better word, prophetic witchcraft. Remember, belief shapes policy. And what does it look like he believes? I ask you, as in Judges 6:31, the NASB version says, will you contend for Baal, or will you save him, Gideon, God's chosen one? If you believe Baal is a god, then let him, Baal, contend for himself, since someone has torn his altar down. This means let Baal defend himself. Satan, the Lord rebuke you. I cancel the plans of the enemy, and I confound the counsel of the wicked. God's people must pray against war and pray for peace throughout our country and the world. I decree and declare that the prayers of the righteous will remain effectual, as in James 5:16, and the plans of the enemy will not prevail, as in Matthew 16:18. Because God has given his chosen ones the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And whatever we bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever we loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven, as in Matthew 16:19.